No, they're good. They're gonna win. They're fine. I'm confident. I've never been worried for a second this entire series. I'm not going to start now. I
Mhm.
understand there's the back and forth, but I think that you need to think about home is where the heart is, and for your heart, for everyone's heart, the heart is chasing a mobile DJ on a bicycle, dancing along outside the arena, as we saw after the game. I've never seen anything like that before. I've never been out there before. I'm an oil man from afar. Is that usually happening?
Uh, I've never seen that before, but the moss pit on Saturday night was an experience from what I was seeing. You had the Stanley Cup lady sat there on the front row, the gentleman who's wearing the
The
VR,
VR.
and then you had the guy who's also shirtless there. And then also, yeah, to end it, everyone doing a little dance line. The DJ's just going around on a bike. It was amazing.
It looked like an absolute party. And Tyler, I loved your video from inside the arena after the game. It looked like such a party. And I'll tell you what, we had Tony Brower on today, and then after that, we had Wyatt Arndt from Canucks Army. The vibes, I know that they're just two different people, but the vibes from the Oilers perspective versus the Canucks perspective, the Canucks perspective, Wyatt had more of like my vibe towards life, which is like, fine, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Fuck this. Oilers fans aren't feeling that way. I don't think they should be, at least. I think that given what unfortunately the Canucks are facing from a lineup perspective, the Brock Besser thing, I'm sure you guys have talked about, fucking sucks. It's
Yeah.
like that's not the way that you want to win against the team. And if you're the Canucks, that's not the way that you want to lose. But given where both rosters are, even if, as Kevin Weeks was speculating during the game the other night, Connor McDavid is less than 100%, the Oilers, I think, are better to so much better than the Canucks. I'm confident, but I've been confident the whole way. I didn't think the series was going 7, so maybe I'm a little too optimistic.
I don't think you are, and the way they won in Game 6 is a big part of that for me. And again, with our conversation with Jason Demers earlier on, he talked about how fragile a home crowd can be in a Game 7, and how he, from his days, he would have always rather been on the road for his Game 7s, because one bad thing happens and you start to sense the nervous energy in the crowd. I also think with the way the Oilers won Game 6, DJ, if you can get on this Canucks team early tonight, you start that doubt, and it's okay. We don't have Demko. Okay, we don't have our best goal scorer. Okay, they beat us 5-1 with 5-5-on-5 goals in Game 6. Like, there are a lot of reasons to think, knock on wood, if the Oilers get off to a good start, they can crumble this Canucks team early.
Yeah, I'm going to give a hockey thought that's actually never been said in the sport before, but I think that coming out fast could be an advantage for the Oilers, and here's why. I know you're thinking, "Wait, whoa! You don't want to do that. You want to pace yourselves." No, I think that the Oilers should want a strong start, because if they can get an early power play, given what, as you said, they were able to do it 5-on-5 last game, if they get an early power play, and look, not scoring on a 5-on-3 blew my mind just the same way it blew all of your minds. But if they can get an early power play goal, then you are so right. I was there in 2019 when the Blues beat the Bruins. Once that first one goes in against you, the energy for sure does change in the building. And I think, as I said, Canucks fans are a little more like, we really don't want to lose, but God, we're just hopeful that we can win. Whereas Oilers fans, I think, rightfully understand that they're favored for good reason. They have two of the best players in the world. I mean, if you were to draft this series right now, obviously the Oilers get the first two guys that you would take, and then Quinn Hughes, who hasn't been great in this series, would probably go after that. And then it's just the Oilers at the top of their roster are just so much better, that if their best players show up as they started to in Game 6, then this should be a very winnable game for them.
You know, you mentioned you had Wyatt on your show. What has been the message from Canucks and Canucks reporters? I guess you had Thomas Drance too. Like, throughout this series, has it been like the Canucks are going to win this, or just kind of like, let's see what happens, like you said?
No, and Pete Pete denied this today, but Pete is getting increasingly annoyed with me on our show about how confident I am in the Oilers. And he said today, he was like, we don't want to alienate Canucks fans. And I was like, honestly, I don't. If me saying I think the Oilers are going to win alienates Canucks fans, then Canucks fans are acting differently than I've seen them act, because I think that they understand they are not the better roster. They understand that they did not enter the season as Stanley Cup favorites. They've had an awesome season, have the Canucks. And I know that sounds condescending for me to say as an Oilers fan, to kind of pat them on the head and say like, hey, great job for coming this far. But really, great job for coming this far. I think that's the way that they view it. I think that if there's anything that's been kind of repeated throughout the series in a positive light from Canucks fans, it's been, wow, they've been able to limit Connor McDavid in a way that not a lot of teams have. Kevin Weeks said in Game 6, when McDavid didn't shoot the puck on the power play, maybe he's got some sort of injury thing, missed time late in the season. I crunched some numbers on his shot attempts per game in the postseason. They are way down this year, but still, even if he is limited in some way, shape, or form, he still produced like a madman in Game 2. So if he can show up and be what he's been at points in this postseason, I don't think any Canucks fan realistically would think our guys at our best are better than their guys at their best.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.